Welcome back to Shaman King 2021, interview episode number 37. This one reviewing the 37th episode of the reboot of Shaman King, Winds of Laughter. Now, how many chapters does this one cover this episode? Does it cover 4, 5, or even 7 like last week? No. This episode covers 10 chapters. 10. It's the first one to cover a double-digit amount of chapters since episode 9 that came out last year. This covers chapters 198 to 207. That means with this very episode, the arc it's adapting has got 50 chapters left, and overall for the whole series, 93 chapters left to go. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens over the course of this episode. The only cut they made here was basically one flashback. And that was it. Like, they kept surprising everything in. I think the only change they made was that the father of the two little kids, in the manga, you see him covering his face at one point with his hand. In the anime, he doesn't do that. Nope, and also at one point, the blood disappears from his face. So, we pick up where we left off last week, where Ho is mentioning about friendship and, like, does do anything Yo and the crew. He mentioned about the sword. Nope, he just leaves. Leaves him basically to their leaving to do with the golem. He explains to his assistant, his little boy assistant later, where he says the reason why he did this was so that Yo becomes stronger. Like, okay, does Yo take it on the golem? Not really, per se. Apparently, summoning up that sword caused him to pass out. And it was up to Ren and Haraho basically trying to deal with things. So, Lisenberg decided to basically allow him to run away from the damn thing. And, of course, Reiser, he's a little boy of the two little kids. He tries to talk to his father, but apparently he doesn't hear him because he's blinded by rage. Yep. And they chased it for a while. Ren suggesting he could basically block him. But no. Basically, before he gets a chance to do anything, Jocko returns. Yes. Yeah, they do explain the flashback in here, which they kept this flashback because it was important. He shows up with a giant stone head. Yes, and they explain where the heck got that from. They mentioned here, and of course they kind of show it here, is that he went through a series of trials in order to maintain this power. Excuse me. Image his power. So the guy who is coming from, apparently he was a very good shaman fighter, but he was victorious. He was very brave, so they gave him a statue of him. And so Jock uses oversoul to make a series of webs to take down the golem. And this lasts for a little while until Anna shows up. Yes, Anna. Let's tell everybody to stop fighting. Well, and then, of course, at that point, the golem runs out of mana. So, what does the father do? He tries to self-destruct. He tries to destroy the golem he basically built. Anna's like, no, that's not necessary. We'll keep it. And by the way, it is mentioned by Yo that he's an earthbound spirit. Yeah, and of course, Jocko tries talking to him and says, hey, I killed you. Which means he's going to, of course, it's implied he's going to be taking responsibility for his actions prior to the events of the series. Where, by the way, the flashback cut out here was a tiny flashback of when this father guy, when he was walking with his kids. Now, there's another flashback in here when Mickey first met him, where they met at some point when he was traveling, and they become very good friends. But not at first, but they become very close friends. He was not interested in his research at all. I basically admired for his great devotion. Yes. And of course, he did mention when he was in a steam bath. He mentions, he tells him, anything happens to me, take care of my kids. That's what he's telling him to do. And Mickey does that. He takes basically, he kind of in a way adopts his friend's kids. And heck, the rest of actually calls Yo sort of like Big Brother. Because he kind of made him part of his family, despite the fact that the thing is, makes kind of sense to do because here's the thing. Mickey and his wife Never had any more kids aside from Yo. They actually had Yo and Ho, and that was it. Yo's mom never got pregnant ever again. Apparently, after having one pregnancy, she just gave up having kids. Yeah. Also, it's never stated exactly what the heck happened. It's not mentioned exactly what happened with his mom that much. Well, in the case of his father, well, he wore his mask. And apparently with a flash into flashbacks, which is kind of weird. So, like, after the golem is dealt with, they go back to pretty much everybody back to doing. Like, everybody goes, like, most everybody goes back to the inn that, well, Anna and Yo and everybody else say, with the exception of Lisenberg, goes back to the X-Laws. And basically, we kind of have some setup for the very next episode. But this episode does come up with the epilogue arc. Yes, it does. This arc been going on for quite a while in the anime. Yes. The first episode started with episode 34. Yep. That's what officially started with, which is basically was adapting from chapter, I think it was this one, was it? Yeah, it was actually 34 when they started to adapt this particular arc. And now we're finally finished with the epilogue stuff. Took a long time. Well, actually, it took just a handful of episodes, but man, this arc is taking a sweet time to get done. But not much to say about this episode. Mostly put, you kind of see this as also it's explained that Chocolove, apparently it's implied he may have lost his sight. And Menta, there's a brief conversation with him and Anna where basically it's mentioned by Anna that Yo thinks that Manta reminds him of his old friend Misima, the guy who died 3 years prior to this series. Aside from the fact he has a similar name and the fact they're good friends, there's not much else they have in common. And plus of this, they make their height. Of course, well, more poking fun of his height. And also, once again, Faust is holding Menta again. Second time in the series he does this. And he's standing up now. I'm like, what the heck happened to his wheelchair? Don't know. I guess he's walking now. Apparently. We do see briefly his beautiful wife again, his nurse, who's also his guardian spirit. And not much else. It just feels as if this episode feels like a bunch of wrapping up a lot of stuff that's going on in the series at this point. We're not done with the series yet, mind you. It just feels like wrapping everything up, or basically just starting some stuff up and basically wrapping up some stuff for this series right now. That's what it feels like with this episode anyways, but next week we're going to move forward and we'll continue finishing up, well, this arc, which has got 50 chapters left. If you're curious as of right now, how many episodes are left? 15. Yep, 15 episodes left to go. Yeah, but not much to say about this episode. It's actually pretty good. It just feels like the arc adapting epilogue, which means the end. Mostly just wraps everything up, just sets up what's going to happen next. Yep. So yeah, that's episode review. And that's probably going to be videos today because, well, I was thinking doing a comic corner, but I figured, I think I'll save it for tomorrow or at least maybe Sunday. Okay? Next video. Bye.